Ladies and gentlemen, crypto heads around the world, the Monday Kickoff with real Daniel Nitze and Mr. Spread. Like, share, subscribe, and enjoy.
Nice. We are live, guys. First live of 2024, right? Is it the first or is it the second? I don't remember.
It's the second,
Maybe.
I think.
We had the second one.
Yeah, we had it 2 weeks ago.
It's already end of January, and I don't know how this month passed. Like, it's 22nd of January, so yeah, 2024 it's here, and I think 2024 is gonna be very, very fast. That's how I see it so far. Because that's how I feel. I feel that like days are like passing very, very fast. But how are you, man? How's life?
I'm good. Actually, I was watching what's going on in on traditional markets, because I think what we're seeing right now is just it's just maybe some profit taking, a correction, etc. And it's very funny because I'm watching also some TradFi accounts on Twitter, and whenever Bitcoin is going with the markets, they're saying that Bitcoin is not correlated, and now that Bitcoin is decorrelating, they're saying, oh yeah, Bitcoin is decorrelating. It's like, okay, so how is it? Are they correlated? They are not correlated? Because as you can see, maybe you saw also the post, I'm watching something very interesting in Japan. It's really flying.
I've seen the traditional markets as well. SP 500 printed a new all-time high for this year. But yeah, that's good, right? For the entire market, I think, or the market overall. Usually, when S&P 500 prints a new all-time high, then we might be followed by a new all-time high from Bitcoin. Usually, like history shows that. The small history, of course, that Bitcoin has, it is still more than 10 years. But usually, when we see the S&P 500 stock market doing pretty well, then Bitcoin follows a few months after. Would be interesting to see, because now Bitcoin is correcting. So yeah, as you mentioned, the correlation is not there anymore, even though we have an ETF now. So the ETF for Bitcoin is there. We've been like very hyped about it. We went up to 49K, and then we went down into a correction, which from my point of view is normal, and it's healthy. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see all-time high immediately after, because then we go into a blow-off top, and then probably another very, very tough bear market. But now, the more the price stabilizes and goes sideways, the more bullish I become, basically. So if we can see this price action for the next 3 to 6 months, that would be perfect. To have Bitcoin going sideways, maybe a little bit down. I don't know, test 35, 36K. We're going to talk about the price a little bit later. But the more this goes on, the more bullish I become. If, of course, I would see the price going back above 50K immediately, that would not be a good sign, because we need some time to cool off, even though the halving will be here probably in a few months. I don't think it's going to be something similar to the ETF in regards to hype. That's how I see it, from my perspective in regards to Bitcoin. The more it goes sideways, the better, and people forget about the market a little bit. But how do you see it? Like, how do you see post ETF Bitcoin? Do you expect more or less, or?
No. For me, it's exactly how it should be. I wrote even a big post. I was a bit, I'm not gonna say angry, but I was I was looking with weird eyes on some of these Bitcoin maxis, and I wrote that thread with Satoshi's nightmare, if you remember. And I said exactly this. Is like, okay, so you say that you're a cyberpunk, and in one hand you're against the banks, but on the other hand you're also with BlackRock and the system. And if you remember, one of the last lives that we had in 2023, we were both saying that don't be so naive. I mean, we were saying in general that don't be so naive thinking that BlackRock is going to be a cyberpunk or a cyber hornet and they're just going to moon our bags. Once you welcome the fox into the hen house, you're going to expect some rough feathers, right? So imagine, I mean, this is what you get. Look at what Grayscale is doing right now, is just unloading hundreds of millions, almost 1.5 billion, I think they have to cover. So they sold more than 30,000 Bitcoins since the ETF, and good for them. But this is what I was writing there. It's like, if you think that BlackRock, if you think that Fidelity and all the other guys are gonna just pump our bags and they're not gonna do what they do best, meaning that they have to generate profit, they have to generate commissions to cover their fees, their salaries, their expenses, etc., you're not gonna be in for a surprise. So I really think that this is going to be a clash between degens and Bitcoin holders and crypto heads, whatever we have in this system, and the old system, meaning TradFi, traditional finance. So it's going to be very interesting. I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. I don't think it's going to be a smooth ride. I don't think that we're going to go to $150,000 so fast, like some people were selling oil around Twitter, and they're just moving the goalpost. It's like, before ETF they were saying 100K. After ETF they say,
yeah,
no,
why? Why, Mr. Spread? Why is not Bitcoin now at 100K, right? We were expecting ETF and 100K. Why is it not happening? Like,
because this is not how things work in normal life.
No?
No. But clickbait
Okay.
works. Clickbait works regardless. So let's not talk about those people. Just we wanted to raise some alarms, and we did our best, I think. And we were with those targets, 48, 50K. We said that from there we will see what type of price action we will have. And even now, since we're talking about price action, let's see how Bitcoin is looking. First of all, on daily, let's say a daily chart.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, how do we read now Bitcoin being towards 41,000? And it was tested that 40,300 level, but it holds for now. So yeah, how do we interpret that with so much selling pressure from Grayscale? Is that bullish or bearish that level did not fail so far? How do you look at it?
In my opinion, this level is very, very important, short term. And as you can see, and as we see, since when we broke above it on the 4th of December, this level, since when we broke above it here, this stabilized, and this is like the range low, right? And we see how many times sellers try to go underneath it. And even today, they tried several times. And as long as we stay above this area, maybe even a week under, right? I think that we're still okay short term. If 40K is lost on daily, and if we see a close under this previous lows from here, right? I think that 38, so these highs from here are going to be exposed. So this area from here. And obviously, if we lose 38, I think we can go even lower towards 35 area, so somewhere around here. And we can stabilize exactly like you were saying. We can stabilize throughout the spring and maybe towards the summer, even before halving. And we can stabilize in this range. And after that, just print higher. For now, I think we're still okay. What I don't like in short-term price action is I'm going to remove this level and I'm going to put it back after. I don't like the fact that this was a weekly fake out, right? A fake out in one direction usually leads to a bigger move to the opposite direction. So what I want to see right now, I want to see Bitcoin buyers defending this area, right? So these areas from here, I don't want them to lose these lows. I don't want to see a daily close under and a continuation after that, because like I said, it's going to expose 38. And from here, obviously, I would like to see another high to take out these highs to still maintain the bullish structure, which we still have. It does not look as bullish as it was looking before, but for now, I cannot be also bearish. At most, I can be, let's say, neutral-ish, but I cannot. I'm still bullish.
Okay,
bullish neutral around this area.
What's the probability in regards to Bitcoin holding 40K or not? Is it still the bulls in control here, or it's really neutral till we see what happens with that level? So who's in control on the smaller time frames, like 4 hour daily? That's like who's in control here on the smaller time frame, because we know on the weekly bulls are still in control. Even though Bitcoin can go down to 35, bulls are going to be still in control. But how about 4 hour and daily? I think that's more interesting to see.
Even on 4 hours, I cannot be bearish here. I mean, I would sell on support, and I would sell on like monthly support, right? Because since weekly, I would say, because it's still not monthly support, I would not sell here, because the risk to reward is, it's poor.
Yeah, but is it correct to say if that level is tested multiple times, it's my break, like in probabilities wise? Is that fair assessment to say, or
Yes,
or we can think about it the way like the bears are trying to do that, and they will not succeed, then it's going to become bullish. So for example, if they will not succeed to break that level in the next week, then we might see a reaction in the different side of the chart to the upside,
well,
basically.
let's think about what happened here and here, right? And after that, we're going to talk about these two other cases. What if you would become bearish here? Or what if
Yeah.
you would become bearish here or become bearish here? So in my opinion, I don't like to just talk in probabilities until I don't see this level. So here I'm not going to do any business here. Okay, so I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to sell. Although if you ask me, here it would favor a swing long. So if you would be like a swing trader, okay, we already have the bounce, and I would say from here you can already pull the trigger on your long, and you have a very tight stop loss under this area. If it goes under, that's it. But I think that the risk reward favors longs from this area, as long as we stay above here.
It's not a bad position. For me, what I want to see, I want to see a dip below 40K and then a recover above 40,500 in order to play that long. So this is how I would play it. First, I would want to see a fake out under the 40K level. And then I want to recover the 40.35, and then I will go long with a stop beneath the previous low that will make under 40K. So that's how I would play it, basically.
Something like this.
Something like that. So I really want to see Bitcoin go below 40K to like scare a little bit the buyers under that level, and then once it recovers, I might go long. So that would be something that I would look in regards to trading. But for me personally, in regards to probabilities, I think on the smaller time frames, the bears are a little bit in control on this level for now. The way I see it, if they will not be able to break the 40K level in the next week and a half, then probably I'm going to become bullish, because it means that they don't have enough power to break that level, and probably we're going to see a move in the opposite direction towards 44, 46 most likely. But I want to see it. But in regards to changing my perspective on the smaller time frame, 44,000 or 44,200, that's the level I want the bulls to recover in order for me to like switch from a bearish perspective on the smaller time frame. That level. So I want to see that level recovered, and then probably I'm going to become bullish again. But on the smaller time frames, I cannot really do that much right now, because I think the sellers are a bit in control in that range. But if 1 week and a half will defend that area going into the end of the month, going into Jerome Powell's press conference, and we don't see 40K lost, I'm going to become bullish. So that's my view, basically, on this chart.
It's a fair assessment on lower time frames. It's just that I like to look, from example, like from weekly, and if the dominant trend is still bullish, I rarely take any trends like counter trends. This is my style. I'm not saying that it's wrong or bad. Or
True. But if you look at the candles on weekly, for example, the buyers really were pushed down. If you look at the candles, you have 2 weeks. So they are really pushed down from that area. It means that there is some selling pressure going in that level, 48, 49, maybe a 50K. Because they tried there, and then they tried with the previous candle close above 44, and they could not do it. And then the next candle again, they tried a little bit, and now we are at the range low. So it means that there is some selling pressure, and mainly
there is. It is selling pressure, and also the last 3 weeks were going lower. It's just that, look, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 weeks where sellers failed. So for me, it's very tricky to be bearish here without seeing, like I said, daily close under this and continuing lower. It's
100%. From trading perspective, 40K needs to be broken in order to make any move. Like, even if you want to go short or if you want to go long, you said that maybe you can think about a long position from this area. But again, I think a play might be if 40K is lost, even for the buyers or sellers. So for now, I think it's not a trading zone that much.
No.
For BTC.
I think this is a chop where you can really
Yeah.
get in trouble. But
Or
like I
if you
said,
want to play this, you play low. Yeah, you play that level and higher level. Basically, that's
exactly,
what
like
you can
you
play right now.
short around
Yeah.
this area and long around these lows with very tight stop loss. But I don't like this kind of chop. For me, it's a no go. I don't like to do any business. This is a swing trade that I would take if I would be a swing trader, but I am not a swing trader. I'm a breakout trader. So even if I would take this just to test it out, like I said, like the stop loss would be very close to this and exactly under the range lows, because it's like very strong here. And I need to see this level being flipped to daily resistance and continuation after, because we can have a
Okay.
fake out,
So
like you said.
yeah. So if we break 40K, what would be a level to watch?
38.
Like 38 would be the first one, and then
Yeah. And
35,
after that,
36.
yes, I think it's going to be around this area where we had that price action. And let me see if it's 30. Yeah, so it's 35 and change. Let's go back on daily. Okay. So the next level, if 40, so if 40 is lost, I just put where is the end of the month. Okay, so in my opinion, if 40K is lost on daily and we have continuations of the second candle and it's not a daily fake out, because after that would be very bullish. But if we have a daily close on under 40K, 38 is opened, and obviously if 38 is lost, I think this whole area which is demand right now, so between 34 20 34 200 35 200, so in this area. And actually I would think that I'll be a buyer around this area if we bounce from there.
So you would be a buyer in the 30, 35, 34, 35
If we bounce.
range. Yeah,
So
I would love to see that as well.
for me to
So
happen to be something like this, maybe I'll just add to my BTC portfolio around this area. Or I don't know, I need to see the price action. I need to see some, like I printed here, some higher lows. And if I see another like a higher low on daily after that bounce, signaling that maybe sellers are exhausted, I might buy around here, or I'm just gonna wait for full 38 to recover. It's not such a big difference here, like 10% is fine. But
yeah.
I just need these higher lows to be printed.
Mhm. If you remember my scenario that I really wanted to see, a rejection from the 50K level, 48 to 50K level, and then I wanted to see basically under 40K Bitcoin. That would be my perfect scenario, or
Can happen.
getting closer to 30K would be amazing. In regards to the market, because the markets may switch around. Now they're very bullish, but if 6 months we're going to see a sideways down price action, the market's going to switch. They're going to become full bears at that point in time. So that's what I want to see. And if I see that, I'm going to become even more bullish on the long term for Bitcoin. So if I see going towards 30K in the next 3 to 6 months, that would be a perfect scenario for me. Because a lot of people will give up. They will be like, okay, we had the ETF, the halving is coming, no price action above 50K or towards all-time high. What is going on? Like, what would be next for Bitcoin in order to go there? Jerome Powell might think about cutting rates, and that's usually bearish for the market. So what's next? So usually that's what I want to see in order for me to buy. So in order for me to buy, that's what I want to see. I want to see go towards 30K. I want to see sideways price action. I want to see people forget about crypto, Bitcoin, and everything, and then would be a perfect scenario to recover towards end of the year, and maybe try all-time highs towards end of the year. So yeah, that's what I want to see. But let's see. One thing is what I want to see, and one thing what the market's gonna do.
And the market is gonna, exactly how the market is gonna execute.
Yeah.
The interesting
Would
thing
be
is about what we were discussing a bit earlier is the fact that if Bitcoin drops another 15%, it would still be bullish. But at that point in time, I think exactly like you very well said, I think that a lot of people are gonna panic. I think again we're gonna see some panic selling. If Bitcoin drops 15%, altcoins most likely they're gonna drop between 35 to 50%, depending on how strong they were before. So 35 to 50% drop from here again is gonna put the depression in people. They're gonna lose hope, in my opinion. But the thing is, and I really hope that the people who are watching or will watch will understand that on higher time frames, this will still be bullish, because we will still have this higher high and higher lows scenario. I don't want to sit under 32K, to be honest, because under 35, sorry. So that area, 34, 35, which we discussed, because after that, look, even if we lose this structure, I think we're just going to go sideways more. But I think I will turn bearish on Bitcoin. Like I said, since we broke up above 32, only under 32, I will be bearish for short, medium term. But as long as we stay above 32, I cannot be bearish on it.
Yeah, usually Bitcoin does some kind of play like that. Like usually, I don't know, we expect 35 and it goes to 29. Usually, it does something like that. Or we're expecting a rejection from the, I don't know, 35 area and it goes to 45 or something like that. So usually it's very unpredictable. It does unpredictable things. So yeah, I would not be surprised if it will go below 35 and then stay there for a little while and then go sideways and then recover and go up afterwards. But right now, yeah, we cannot speak about that because we're still above 40k. So we need to see when Bitcoin is below 40k, then we can play some scenarios and what we might see afterwards. So yeah, I think it's enough to continue maybe with other scenarios above 40k than under 40k, because Bitcoin now is holding that level, and it seems that again it's gonna bounce.
What I'm looking, and I agree with what you're saying here. What I'm looking at is that this might be a distribution. So after we had this whole run up, if buyers cannot break and print another high above this area, as you can see, these were rejections. So it means that the price didn't get any acceptance above 45,000. What's this level again? Let me see how much is it this clearly. So we need a clear weekly close above 45,200, but we don't need this kind of rejections from wicks, because if not, people were buying here, and it looks like they're distributing their profits. I don't have confirmation, because exactly like we were speaking, I need to see it under this level. So I need these wicks to be invalidated, and when we're gonna see it on weekly close going under 40k and maybe even losing 38, it means that this scenario of distribution is already unfolding and is confirmed, and at that point in time we can expect 38, 35 and lower values than this, because that distribution would be confirmed, in my opinion, only when we take out this weeks from here.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And for now, every attempt to break that level was like failing. It's failing so far. So it means that, yeah, it's a kind of a stalemate in that area between buyers and sellers. Once we reach the 40k level, it means that there is a lot of selling pressure, but we have buyers as well, and in that range. And I would not be that bearish if Bitcoin can hold 40k for another 2 weeks. Actually, I'll become bullish and I would say yes, 40k was the reaccumulation zone and we go towards all-time high. Like at that point in time, if I see that and I see recover the 44,000 level, I can say that we went sideways here. We did some accumulation at 40k and we can print higher. Like there's no problem, but I want to see it. That's what I want to see. I want to see that level defended.
So you want to see until, let's say, 22nd of January that this level is defended, right?
I want to see till end of month, basically. I want to see till 3rd of February that level is defended. Yeah, going into end of month, I want to see that level defended, and then I'm going to become bullish.
3 weeks or so.
Yeah, around that. So I want to see how the market reacts towards end of the month, into the Jerome Powell press conference, and then if we are not below 40k, I'm going to become bullish, and probably we're going to print above 50k. That's what I think afterwards.
The thing is, go ahead.
Yeah, so afterwards, I wanna see what's happening after 31st of January. If we don't break that level, probably I'm gonna become bullish, and I'm gonna have a target above 40k. So above 40k. The press conference 31st.
It's 31st here at 9 p.m. UTC +2. Just for the people who were not aware why Daniel is saying the end of the month, and when Jerome Powell is speaking, we're going to have the federal fund rates, and after that we're going to have Jerome Powell talking at 9:30. Most likely we're also going to cover that. Let's see. Yes. No, I'll skip this because I'm going to be away. But regardless, we're going to speak, both of us. We're going to speak about it on Twitter. One thing I want to add here, Daniel, with the fact that with what we began actually, and the fact that the traditional markets, and let me switch to the traditional markets, they're looking very, very, very good. And there are two elements why I cannot be even a short-term bearish here. Hold on for just 1 second.
Yeah, we have a comment already. S&P 500 is still strong. The new high slightly above Friday close pre-market.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's time to go there as well. We're gonna come back to crypto. We're gonna look at Ethereum 100% and some altcoins
I just
later.
shared right now.
Yeah.
So if you remember, we were talking about this, I think on our show like 2 weeks ago, and I said that as long as we stay above 4,700, I cannot be even short-term bearish because this looks like a massive bull flag, and actually this was the target of this potential. I put it on 3 days to see it more on daily, but this is like you can watch it even on daily. But let's just keep it on 3 days so we can watch more of the price action. Here it was the all-time high, and when we got that pullback again, people were saying, "Oh, it's all over. This is the top. This is the double top, etc." I was like, "Okay, guys. Well, listen. In order for this to be a full reversal, you need to change the structure, right? Where would the structure have been changed? Would change? Sorry, if we were here, the structure would change." Here under 4,600, that would be the first place where I would be at least neutral. And if we would lose 4,420, and we discussed about this, and you also said this last time, if we would lose 4,420, I think we would have seen a beginning of some more problems. But the reason why I said that, I think that still bulls are in control on weekly, on daily, on even on short term, is because of how strong the traditional markets are, right? Okay, we see now some profit taking, we see grayscale unloading, and that's why is the pressure in the market. But I think that it's a little bit of too much anxiety, and people and the majority of people tend to forget also the other side of the coin, right? Okay, there is a lot of sell pressure,
The
but
macro
even
trend,
so,
yeah.
but even so, with this a lot of sell pressure, this sell pressure was absorbed quite good. I mean, Bitcoin is still holding above 40K, although they sold like 11,000, 12,000, 13,000 Bitcoin clips like all the time.
Yeah, but that's nothing for Grayscale because they have another 500,000, I think, to be sold. But I don't think they will sell everything just to put it out there.
No, I don't think so. I don't
yeah.
think so. I think that because they have good plans. But my point was that Bitcoin is still very strong given the fact that it had such a big sell pressure. But going back with what I was saying, why I'm still bullish even short term, is because I'm looking at traditional markets and I see all-time high just printed on S&P 500. So this area right here is not relevant anymore because I just put it at supply, and maybe now is going to become demand, right? And besides that, Dow Jones also recovered. I think that a lot of late sellers were caught off guard. Also, Dow Jones printed an all-time high last week. So traditional markets are doing good, and I don't even like. If you mention Nasdaq is just an absolute beast. Like, look what Nasdaq is doing. And if you remember, we were talking about a potential target, which this is like
handle, yeah.
this is like a very nice cup and handle. And on weekly, the potential measure target of this is around 22,570.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna reach that high now. Maybe it's gonna take a while.
2025 can be.
My theory is that we're gonna go up in the rate cuts, and then we're gonna have a correction. That's my view. I think we're gonna go up till March. So yeah, February as well, and towards March, because then we might see a cut from Jerome Powell. Then we might see a correction. I don't know if it's gonna end up that far, but I think a 19,000 can be on the cards for Nasdaq, basically till then, and then maybe a correction that scares a lot of people afterwards from that level on. So it still has some room to go till
exactly
March.
like you're saying, just because the technological index has a lot of room to go, and a lot of times Nasdaq is paired with Bitcoin or vice versa. Plus, the devil is in the details. I mean, come on, like Japan was leading last year. Japan was leading last year. Just look how bullish this was. This was just a huge deviation even on COVID. But look, since COVID, what it happened to it.
Yeah, very bullish.
It just reached the June 1987 highs, and it's
Crazy.
very close to an all-time high. So it didn't
crazy
reach
after how many years? After how many years? Wow.
It's almost 37 years. Yes, almost
37 years. Imagine investing at the last previous stop.
Yeah, but
And
I
now
think
waiting for another one,
I
30
think
something years.
you had a lot of time. You had a lot of time to DCA into it, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
The thing is that I cannot just so looking at legacy markets, right? So I'm looking at Japan, I'm looking at Nasdaq, I'm looking at Dow Jones, I'm looking at SP500, which were leading. I cannot be bearish right now on the market, right? And I saw some. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm just gonna say some interesting comments that China has problems. Well, China had problems all the way up. So when Nasdaq was rallying, look, let's talk about China economy. Good job, Sergio. I would just mention index. This is Hang Seng index, and all the way up, right? China was having problems. So look what happened since January 2023. Look what's happening. China was still falling, all while Japan was rallying, right?
It's a
Nasdaq was
flippening.
rallying.
It's a flippening. The
Yeah.
flippening is real.
So I was having these targets for Japan, and I think even I have one of the posts on Hang Seng. This was the first target. So I think I should search since August. This was the first target, which was around 17,000. And I'm really curious if the lows now from Hang Seng are gonna hold around
But how is this
14,600.
bullish? Because usually China kind of leads a little bit.
No,
How is this?
this is what I wanted to say. China it was not leading. I mean, if this was a benchmark, it means that all the others since January 2023 should
Yeah,
have dropped. But look what
yeah, yeah.
happened to them
That
since
is
January
true.
2023. So it was decorrelated. What I
Yeah.
have no idea why China
Why
is
is it
slumping.
decorrelated? That's what I mean. Like
I
that.
have
That's what I
no
mean. How?
idea. I don't
Yeah.
know. Some weird stuff is happening in China. I have no idea, but this is bearish if you ask me. So
Yeah.
Chinese index
Clearly.
looks really bearish. However, last week I saw a press comment, right? And I think it was even a news that short selling is banned in China right now.
Yeah. 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 It is. It is. So they
Remember what
really
happened with
suffer. Yeah.
remember what happened with Korea when Korea banned
I
short
do.
selling,
I
right?
do. I do. Yeah,
So
but
all of
China is not really that much in the market. It's just in Hong Kong right now. If you talk about crypto mainly, but yeah, it is
and
something to follow. It is something to follow to
and I
see.
don't think and I don't think that big investors. Let me remove this from the monthly chart. I don't think that big investors have so much exposure into Chinese stocks. I just don't think so. And if you ask me, if you wanted to be bearish on China, you could have been since August, but this looks maybe like a double bottom. Okay, I don't want to call it from now, but the
It's
risk
too
reward is
early.
not
Yeah,
anymore yeah, but it's not a good risk reward anymore to short it here, right? Because it's at like a level since we didn't see since 2009, right? The previous level here, or in 2022. The risk reward was good to here. So if you wanted to short here there was a nice drop, but to short here when you're at the yearly support, I don't think that this is good. And if China will also bounce from here, I think this is gonna just add to the bullish cake.
yeah. The Chinese stocks that are trading on the on SP 500 they had a very bad year. Very bad year. So maybe they're gonna recover a little bit if that's a double bottom for China. Maybe in 2024, second part, we're gonna see maybe a recovery. But that really looks bearish. So
It's
I will
very
not put
bearish.
my money that much into Chinese stocks, even though I hold
Me
some
neither.
Neo and some Alibaba. I will not touch them that much until I see a clear reversal in the Chinese market.
For me, exactly like you're saying, in order for me to be bullish on Hang Seng, and I think this year I have to give props to one of my guys, to Dan, because he saw, I mean, he was tracking my calls on indexes, and they've been really on point on this, and I really need to focus on this. I was just aware these days. I think I can be I can be bullish on China just. I don't know, above 18,300. So to take out these highs from here, maybe even higher, like even about 19,000. But until then, this looks very bearish. I mean, looks still bearish, but I would not short it around this area. To flip bullish, I would flip
Yeah.
above
Look,
18,000.
Sergio has a good point. He says we should be worried that the second largest economy is failing. I would say yes. Like I would
But
say yes on the
I
long
just want
run.
to add one thing. The stock market is not the economy, okay?
Mhm.
Especially for China, right? So Chinese economy does not rely as much on their stock market as for example, I don't know, United States, right?
US, yeah,
But
correct.
even in United States, remember what was happening in spring of last year when Silicon Valley Bank was falling, First Republic was falling, and although that was happening, Nasdaq was rallying and was putting all-time highs back then. And a lot of people were super bearish. So please keep in mind that yes, you can have it in the back of your mind in order to not be ultra bullish with risk assets globally. But I don't think that looking at the second biggest economy, stock market, is very fair to assume that if their stock market is not doing so good, their economy is also not doing good. You study their economy by just watching their macro indicators, like the PMI for construction, their exports, their imports, there's balance sheet. If there is liquidity from the People Bank of China, and there still is, but until then, I mean, until we don't see some cracks in the real economy, not in the stock market, I don't think that is a fair assumption to judge or to label Chinese economy by their stock market.
True. So Christian is saying, so we are bullish for 2024 and no one is expecting a recession come in 2025. And I think I think maybe the first part I can agree that we might be bullish for 2024, but I think 2025 might be a year that we might see some kind of trouble, as Trump right now is kind of the only candidate for the Republicans. I think a few step down, and I think it's either him or Nikki Haley or something like that for the Republicans, and then we're gonna have a new Biden versus Trump, which might end with Trump being a president, and 2025 might be a new roller coaster. But yeah, I don't agree with 2025. I think the odds, if you ask me, is for a recession now in 2025 than 2024. But what's your view, Mr. Spread?
Like I said in the beginning of the year, if you remember, I reduced my macro framework to about 5%. Okay, so
Yeah,
I don't know why we are talking about recession right now, like in this moment. Okay, like
there's no indication at this point.
And I'm gonna ask Christian if he wants to reply, and also everybody who is watching and they want to reply. What from United States economy indicates that we're in a recession right now? From what aspect?
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much. Like you look
Housing
at the
market,
jobs data, you look
job
at
data is improving for the last
PMIs.
2 months,
Yeah,
right? PMIs are improving, but they're still in contraction. But we're also gonna have the PMIs this week. Housing market, like
inflation under control, PCE under control. We have it this week as well. I'll have PCE, I think Thursday, maybe. Maybe we can look at the calendar. But for now, nothing really shows that we're going into recession this year. Might hit overnight, maybe, but that's not a high probability.
No, wait. Let's just make a very nice separation between recession and black swan. If a black swan comes, that's the definition of a black swan. Nobody expects a black swan. That's why it's a black swan. You cannot model a black swan. You cannot foresee a black swan. That's why it's freaking called the black swan. Correct? So that's one thing to have a black swan. It's another thing to have a recession. And I see here Mihai Papadopoulos saying data is manipulated. Well,
it is. Always was.
I agree. I agree that the data can be manipulated, but can you trade or can you invest on the real data? And if you say yes, what is the real data? I mean, what are the real numbers, right?
Correct.
So you trade.
It's very hard to know.
Exactly. So you trade and you invest in what you see. If you see that the job market, for example, one of the nicest indicators, and it's a almost live indicator week to week, are the United States unemployment claims. And for now, they're even under 200,000. They're dropping, right? These are the number of people who file for unemployment in the United States from week to week. Last week or 2 weeks ago, they were around 220. It came at 204 and now 187. When we will see an unemployment claims rise from 200 to 240 to 250 to 300K, and we have a trend week to week, okay, then we can also think about this kind of problems under the hood. But until that happens, I mean, what good? I'm going to ask another question. Let's say the data is manipulated. Let's say you think that the stock market is going to crash. Let's say that I don't know, we're going to have a huge correction. How do you model that? And let's say
it's hard to model. Even though you're right, you might be wrong. Even though you're right, you might be wrong.
But you can be right, but you can be right in 3 years from now or in 2 years from now. I was like, what do you do in
As
the meantime?
Burry was in 2008, he started shorting 2005 or something like that. So
The difference between us and Buddy and everybody who's watching is that
capital.
Buddy had like billions of dollars in capital, and even him, he was at like very close to being margin called and lose all the money.
Yeah,
Very, very
100%.
close.
Yeah,
So when you
trading on macro is very hard usually. Like putting all your assessment on macro, it's very, very hard because even though you might be right, you might be wrong on the short term, medium term, and maybe some times even long term. 2, 3, 5 years
but
down the line. So do you have enough money to withstand that for a long period of time till you're right? Because when you're right, it's gonna pay off highly, but do you have that much capital in order to like witness, for example, now S&P 500 doing an all-time high and be sidelined or like shorting it, which would be worse, to do. But yeah, so
I have
someone
I have
says,
to I
yeah,
have
yeah, go ahead.
two things in mind. For example, if we're at all-time high, we speak about recession, right? If now we were at 4,100, we will speak about a bullish scenario, we will speak about a bull run. So wait a second, let me get this straight because I see this quite a lot on Twitter. At all-time high for Nasdaq, Dow Jones, and S&P, we speak about a recession coming and about a crash coming, right? This is what's happening. Even in this discussion, some people are saying
Yeah.
this. What if today, and this is a live question for everybody who's watching, what if today we were at 4,000? We would speak about a bull run?
Yeah, true. No, yeah, correct.
So
Yeah,
when S&P 500, let's go back to S&P 500. Let's say when S&P 500 is going to go under 4,600, it's also going to lose 4,420, right? And it's going to go towards 4,155. Based on that, we're going to lose all the structures on daily and weekly and most likely on monthly. And we can also look what's going on because the price always leads narratives. So if we see that this is going to puke, right? And we're going to lose this level, which was very important from here, and we're going to lose this level, which was very important from here, then we can also start asking some questions. We can de-risk even more. But until that happens,
for now, the stock market does not show that a recession is coming now. So yeah, it's no clear indication. The yield curve is not inversed. Like nothing shows that it's gonna happen now. Without a black swan, as you mentioned, it's very hard to be this year. Like without a black swan, a real black swan.
if someone
That
knows
yeah.
when this black swan is going to come, I have some money to give that person so he can trade based on black swan that is coming.
Yeah, but that's lower probability. That's we were talking about probability now. The probability is not too high for us to have a recession this year. Can it happen? Of course it can. Like anything, it can happen, But the probability is low. I would give it under 10% at this point in time with
I have
all the
no
data.
probability actually. I'm just going
Yeah,
to trade the
so
price.
that would be my probability, but that probability would be a black swan, so something to really happen to impact the economy from outside. Let's say, I don't know, another war, another escalation, Trump, something, I don't know, like something to really like push it down that line right now. But I think 2025 have a higher chance of getting there, but we need to see how the US election ends and what's going to happen afterwards towards the end of the year. Usually if the stock market will not crash before the elections, like 3 months before or 4, usually the president who's in charge will stay in power. That's usually what happens in US. But we'll have to see. It doesn't mean that this time is going to be the same, because every line that you go, every indicator that you see might be broken at some point. But for now, it holds. Like if we're not going to see a crash 3 months before, and Biden will take Trump again. Biden might win again, even though all the polls right now shows that Trump will win. I do not trust polls at all, like basically, especially the one in US, because now Trump really wins because a lot of young people are voting for him. But we know something about young people; they're just loud, but they don't act. Most of the time. So the Democrats are usually not that loud, but they go out to vote. So that's why most of the times you have like huge discrepancy in the polls. So I don't trust the polls that are saying right now that Trump will win, because the Republicans and the younger people are usually louder, but they don't go to act when they need to go to act, you know. So yeah, and I think if the stock market will not crash, Biden will win again. I know it's crazy because he's like 95 or whatever years he has, but it's crazy. But we'll see. We're far away from that. We're gonna probably have more discussions towards that time.
Biden's problem is that a lot of people saw that he's very, very weak. I mean, the guy is not in his right mind, right, anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of times we saw what's happening, and politically, we saw DeSantis, who was backing off yesterday, I think, and he's
Yeah.
supporting Trump, and also we saw Vivek also backing off last week, and also he's also supporting Trump. So I don't want to get very political. Actually, I don't care. I just like I don't have any dog in that fight, and that is it.
Yeah, but I
see
think it's
some.
gonna impact the markets. I think it's gonna impact the markets. What's gonna happen towards
I
the
don't know.
election?
I wish them the best, and I'm not gonna put that in any of my model. I reduced it, like I said, to 5%. I'm just gonna watch the data when it's gonna come to housing, when it's gonna come to inflation, and when it's gonna come to the job market. Besides that, I don't want to put too much mind into it, and I just want to focus more on price, on weekly, daily, monthly, and just do my best to rotate if the time says so. I saw a very interesting comment from Razvan, and he was saying something about the yield curve. If you remember, on this run up from the yield curve, S&P 500 was actually pulling back. So since December 25th until the beginning of January, we had the run up from the yield curve, and it almost lasted until the 15th of January. And we also had another run up from the 17 to 18 when we had another pullback on S&P 500. However, now, as you can see, whenever we see that the yield curve is pulling backwards and is going to reinvert, right, and is going to go lower, I think that risk assets are still fine. So the inversion is still far away. And this is not, by the way, don't do technical analysis on yield curve. I don't believe in that. Just watch some levels and just watch. I would just watch the steepener, right? So I would watch if it goes higher or if it's going to go lower. If we see it like going lower now, I think that risk assets still are pretty.
Yeah, the thing is with yield curve, probably is gonna happen very fast when it's gonna happen. So when the yield curve is gonna de-invert, I think it's gonna be fast. I think it's gonna be in a couple of days, and yeah, it's not gonna be enough time. Like for people, it's like, oh look, the yield curve already happened in 3 days. Skyrocketed. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be a slow bleed.
The thing is that the crash does not come when the yield curve
Yeah.
inverts. The crash usually comes afterwards, right?
Months,
Like,
even years sometimes. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Like, look at 2007, right? The yield curve inverted in June 2007, and actually, when it hit the markets was around October towards November. So,
yeah, the
actually,
thing is back then a lot of
it reinverted in May. So
yeah.
sorry for that. So
and then it went higher. Yeah, and then it went
after
higher.
200 and something days, right? So,
yeah, the thing is like with gold ETF. Back then, not too many people were following this. Now a lot of people are following it. So once it's gonna happen, it's gonna be like probably quicker in reaction
it
than
can
it
be a
was back then.
prophecy,
Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy. Correct. Yeah, we'll be here to see, but I don't think we should stay longer on the macro, because for now
I
it's
agree.
kind of sideways. I would say it's sideways, bullish sideways in this environment right now. So it's nothing really to look at the macro and say yes, a very big crash is coming because of the macro. If we're gonna have a black swan, we're gonna talk about it then. But the probability now is for the market to react okay in the election year. So that's the probability. We talked about it. Like it's a high probability that the stock market will perform well because it's election year. We'll see what's going to happen towards the election year. Might see some difficulty there. November, September, close to that period. But a lot of things can happen back then. We'll see if Trump will still be the one to be the Republican candidate, if Biden will still make it to that point. There's a lot of things that can happen till then. How
about we just let the price guide us, Danny?
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Someone said DXY. Maybe we can look at DXY.
Sure.
You looked over DXY. So DXY, I can see there's some people here that really like the DXY. So nice. I looked at it yesterday, to be honest, and it looked a little bit bearish. I don't have it. Let me.
I have it if you want.
Yeah.
However you want, I can open it.
It's 103.2. Yeah, I looked a bit bearish when I last time when I looked at it. So let's see.
I was discussing with my guys, and I was saying that although we have this break of structure, right? So it was lower highs, and we can see that we printed above this area. I just still want 103 to be flipped, 103.7, sorry, to be flipped on daily support and continuation higher before I can flip on it. And this was done mainly because of euro dollar. I didn't like how this was looking here, and I didn't like it for the bears actually, because we didn't have any follow through, right? So we broke here. It was one time and two times and three times and four times, as you can see, for 4 days. Sellers tried to break under. This means that the market did not get any acceptance, because if the market didn't get any acceptance here, this means that 1.08745 or 1.0875 to be much easier still holds, and this was a huge level, and this is still a huge area in my opinion. So until I don't see euro dollar losing 1.0875, and mind you, this has 57.3% out of the DXY basket, so the biggest weight out of the DXY basket, and I don't see GBP USD also turning lower and losing 1.243, I'm gonna be still, I would say, bearish, and maybe above 103.7 I'm gonna flip neutral and fully bullish above this area, above 105.3, because this looks very, very weird. I mean, I couldn't put my finger on it. I was speaking in the AMAs, and I said, listen guys, I don't know why. I have a gut feeling, and after like 1 decade and something of trading the markets, I cannot tell you why I cannot be bullish right now. There is something that is very, very weird, and what was weird was the fact that the dollar bulls couldn't push euro dollar lower. GBP USD was not going lower, although USD JPY was rallying, right? So I wanted to be like in this kind of no trade mode, defensive mode, and in the same time I didn't get any follow through, for example, from the stock market. If DXY was so bullish, why was risk still rallying, right? So for me, maybe it was just repositioning from some big hedge funds. I have no idea, from some big
That's true. And Jerome Powell, that does not really help the DXY at this point,
no,
because it really
doesn't.
does nothing. Yeah. So it just sits on his hand. So do you think we might see a surprise? Because usually when the rates are cut, DXY dumps, right? Do you think we might see a surprise this time when the rates are cut, DXY pumps? Would be interesting, but yeah, I would love to hear your opinion about the moment when the rates are cut.
Let me look at something, because I don't know if I have it here. Yeah. For now, I don't think there is any chance for them to cut now in January, like none.
Yeah, it's 98%, I think, last time I looked at the
that
CME
they don't cut, right?
Let me just find it, and I can add it to the stream very quickly. There's 98%, I think, chance. Let me see. Yeah, now it's 99. Now it's 99% that they will not do anything. Let me just present and show it to everyone. So here we go. Yeah, you can see 99.5% for the interest rate to remain between 525 and 550 basis points. So
you know what's the interesting thing? The interesting thing is that 2 weeks ago, the expectations for a cut in March were like 80%, and 1 week ago they were around 65. Can you see what are the expectations for March, please?
I don't know where this is. I can see for now we have 0.5 for a cut.
It should be
but
I think it should be above. I don't see it also on your screen.
March. Oh yeah, here you go.
So what are the expectations for a cut?
40%. Yeah, 50. It's 50-50 kinda. 50-50 to remain the same or cut.
From 80-20, after that it was 70-30, and now it's almost
kind of dropping now. So we might not see it in March, huh?
This is what I'm saying, that the markets still have some room to move, and there you go. Even like,
yeah, here we have a high probability. So May might be the month for cutting interest rates. Even though, yeah, we can see here 0.5 actually as well. for May. They can see
Yeah,
here.
because they're expecting 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts this year. I mean, they're expecting at least 3 cuts this year, and if they don't cut until May, it means that they're not gonna have so many meetings to still achieve their cut targets, like they were saying. But until then, like what we are now, we are like end of January, beginning of we have February, March, April, May. So okay, let's say April, but until May, right, or until April, we still
Yeah.
have 3 months. Do you even imagine what can happen in 3 months to risk assets if we don't see any cuts? For example, if we don't see any cuts now in January, most likely we're still gonna rally. And looking at the price, I don't even need to look at this. I don't need to look at this at all, and I still know that it's a high probability that we're gonna rally.
Yeah,
Based on the price.
we're gonna be in a scenario selling May and go away, maybe.
Very possible.
Maybe
Very possible.
we,
Very
we we might
possible.
be in that scenario because now May is kind of the month when we have a high probability of cutting. But depends what happens till then in the economy. But for now, it doesn't seem that anything is really going on in order for Jerome to cut earlier. Why would he? Like, things are going well for him. Why would he cut now? Like, yeah. So
There's
things
another
are.
thing. There's another thing that I want to bring up here. Although I said that we're not going to talk so much about the macros. In March, the BTFP program, the one that was helping the banks which had problems, is ending. Right. So the
Okay.
Federal Reserve with the Treasury, they have a mechanism that they installed in March. I don't know if it was March last year or in spring last year, when Silicon Valley Bank was falling, when First Republic was falling, and all the other regional banks had problems, and they placed this program BTFP, in which banks which had problems, they could tap into that facility, and they could tap into that liquidity, and they would repay it afterwards. So to not create this kind of disruption which we had with Silicon Valley and First Republic. This has an end date in March this year, and there is a very big discussion on financial Twitter if they will continue. So in my opinion, and ask people which are much smarter than me in financial plumbing, when it comes to Federal Reserve liquidity and financial markets liquidity, and I placed a simple question and nobody has an answer, right? So they did this program, and it kind of balanced out the effect of quantitative tightening, right? So QT is pulling out liquidity from the system, but in the same time, this BTFP program, if you're a bank who has problems, you go in, and of course this is not good for you because the regulators see that you have problems, but at least you have enough funds to not go under and create other systemic risks. So although the QT was pulling out liquidity from the system on kind of a back door, the banks were still doing their business normally, and in the same time the money was not introduced into circulation, and it was not re-accelerating the inflation. So my question was to these smarter people than I am, why would Fed not continue from March with the BTFP program if this was so good and it stabilized the regional banks and also the financial system in the United States and globally, and it didn't reignite another wave of inflation? So why wouldn't they continue like refilling that amount with the Treasury in order to still keep stability, to have nice flowing good markets, to not create this disruption like we have with SVB and First Republic, and in the same time still continue with their QT on the other way, and after that to do the rate cuts? So it's going to be very interesting. So towards March, I'm very curious, and I think this is something that we should discuss again, and I think this is something that we should pay attention to from the macro.
Yeah, very very good point. I can see someone says here that I read that the BTFD amounts aren't to be paid until March 2025.
He's
So
very accurate. He's very accurate. Ungurashu, good job for the comment. So all these banks who borrowed money from the BTFP, so who tapped into this faucet of liquidity, like extra faucet, like a life jacket, they don't have to repay it until March 2025. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah, good point. I think we're gonna come back to it in the future episodes, 100%. Maybe we want to look at the ETFs a little bit. I have them here. Yeah. So the ETFs for Bitcoin, I think the more interesting one is the iBeat. That looks like this. Is it a shock for you that the ETF looks like this, Mr. Spread?
No.
No, right? Like most of things that really launch, they kind of look like this. So it's not it's not a big deal at this point. The thing is, when is this gonna recover? I think that's the question. I can see in pre-market it's minus I think 0.37 here. Yeah. So it's still going down.
When Grayscale stops selling.
Yeah, so when Grayscale will stop, you think that the selling pressure will fade away. And then it's not only Grayscale. I think it's the miners that adjust now as well. And I've seen that they sell a little bit, and people forget that the U.S. government has a lot of money in Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin that they seized, so they might sell at some point. So these are the few things that you need to keep in mind. There's still some sellers there, even though we might have a lot of buying from this ETF. But for now, the ETF, we can see that finally BlackRock really holds Bitcoin. I don't remember how many they hold right now, but they do. Of course, they buy it OTC. They don't buy it. They don't buy it from the spot market. But still, they do hold it. So that's a big deal, I would say.
They hold it through the custodian, through Coinbase. Yeah,
through their custodian. How do you see that? Of course, from a cypherpunk perspective, it's not great, right? Because this is thing that we don't want. We don't want BlackRock to hold the Bitcoin. We want us to hold it, not BlackRock or other institutions and so on. But from a price perspective, might have a good impact on the long run if the supply is like going down and down from exchanges, or you don't see it like that. You see that BlackRock might manipulate it in a way.
Everybody buys and sells at the price that they deserve, and I think I said everything with that.
Correct. But which side would you take? Would you take the cypherpunk, or would you like more the traditional?
Of course, I'm gonna take the. This is one of the reasons why I joined. This is one of the reasons why I think that evening I was going to a rebellion of writing, and I posted that Satoshi nightmare while I was listening to like a very dark song from a movie, from Vikings, from like Zvitser's song or something. And it was very nice with that background. Of course, I'm gonna go with the cyberpunk, but in the end, I'm gonna write this. Actually, I wanted to write it on Twitter, but I'm gonna ask right now. You know that there are a lot of Bitcoin maxis, right? And they're saying that they're holding, etc. I'm gonna write exactly this question, and I think this is how you can prove that everybody has like not necessarily a price, but everybody has a number. I would take like one of the hardcore Bitcoin maxis, but let's say he's not a ultra millionaire or billionaire, right? Let's say he has, I don't know, $5 million.
For example, Max Kaiser.
He has more. I think Max Kaiser has like
maybe
has more than $100 million. But even so, right? I'll take someone who is like an average holder and he has like $5 million in Bitcoin and he doesn't want to sell. He lives a modest life, and I'll tell him, listen, man, I'm gonna give you $50 million, $100 million, but you sell all your Bitcoin today, and you're not allowed to speak, to touch, to get in touch. Like you just throw away all your Bitcoin accounts. You're not allowed to like nothing. You just detach completely from this kind of movement community. And I don't think that there will be so many people who are gonna refuse on that offer.
Probably a lot of people will take it because it's a 20x, right? It's kind of a 20x.
Yes, but it's normal to take it. Like that's the sensible thing. That's the reasonable thing, at the end of the day. And this is also one of the reasons why right now I think that unfortunately the Bitcoin is also becoming a very traditional system, because the big boys are here, right? And they know exactly what to do. They're not here for the cyberpunk movement. They're not here for the laser eyes. They're not here for Satoshi's dream. They're not here for decentralization. They're not here to give the power to the sovereign individual. They're here to make money. They made money for hundreds of years, and they will make money for hundreds of years.
But they make money, but they want to make money to their customers as well. How do they make money for the customers when they buy Bitcoin when it's like right now 41,000 and they shill this?
They will.
The fees, or like the fees is not enough from my point of view.
Enough from this. Don't worry. They bought it, and look what's happening. Grayscale. The Grayscale is dumping. A lot of people are selling right now at 40. They're gonna sell at 38. They're gonna sell at 35. Some people, and they're gonna buy back from BlackRock, or they're gonna buy back from all these people who are issuing now these ETF at 55 or at 60, like most of the retail does. I saw some Google searches, and we're still nowhere near the values from 2021 bull run when it comes to Bitcoin. So this is good. The masses are still not here, but a lot of people, they're gonna sell right now, and they're gonna buy back above 55, above 60K, and this is when the retail is gonna come
in a few months.
Exactly.
In a few
retail
months.
comes near all-time high.
We've seen that movie before in the past. But that's what it is. Maybe for now, if the price stabilizes, goes down, then they have enough time to shill this ETF to a lot of institutional investors, and after that we might take off, going above all-time high, and then we might not stop. We might go 100k, 200k, 300k. Who knows? Like, who knows what the crazy amount? Because as you said, there's different money now. There's different institutions, money flow, everything. So you don't know how crazy things might get. For example, Franklin Templeton, they put, I think, on Twitter a lot of shady stuff about shitcoins as well, and
Yeah,
not
they
only
did.
Bitcoin. So imagine how crazy things might become in the top of the next bull market. I don't know. I think it's gonna be something that we never seen before, because these institutions really are understanding now the game, are understanding a little bit how to manipulate the market, and they will do it, but they will do it with trillions now. They will not do it with like billions or like hundreds of millions. So it's going to be interesting to see all these like big institutions put laser eyes, as Franklin Templeton did, or all of this. It's going to be hilarious from my point of view. Like, it's going to be something very, very crazy, very crazy, probably towards the next top of the bull market. And I don't think after that will be something that we might see similar, like in regards to how many institutions would like shill and Bitcoin, shitcoins, and so on.
Can
But
I
yeah.
can I touch upon one thing, because I see it, especially in our part of the world, in Europe and in Romania. I see a lot of people talking about manipulation, and I
Mhm.
think that this is a very misunderstood and misinterpreted concept.
100%. Yeah.
It's one thing for someone to do what they can do with their assets and with their money that they have. If someone is buying and selling and they're doing some, I don't know, as long as it's inside the legal terms, this is normal, and this is a normal, not normal practice, but this is a practice since the beginning of the stock market. I think Japanese people had a stock market, and they had futures for rise for, I think, I don't know if I'm mistaken, for 500 or 400 years they had price for futures and rise, right? And people who had more money, they could have also manipulated the price at that place in time. Even now, if someone comes and he's a big kahuna and he's like a whale, and he has the funds and he can put some, so he can buy a lot, he can sell a lot, he has algorithms, that is not illegal price manipulation. It's a very big difference between illegal price manipulation and price manipulation. It's one thing to put fake orders. It's one thing to do some, I don't know, go behind someone's back and push that person to make a press conference and say something about its company or say something about a token. That is manipulation. So it's one thing
Yeah.
to do what you can with the power that you have in the market, where the big fish eats the little fish. And it's another thing when you speak about manipulation, when it comes to illegal manipulation, like for example JP Morgan did so many times, or these banks did a lot of times with the price of precious metals, like spoofing. Like they were putting an order that it was not there just to scare some other people at some important levels, etc. Well, that is a manipulation, and that's illegal manipulation. But I think that we take too lightly this kind of term, especially in our part
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah, well, 100%, 100%. What you're saying is correct. Like, manipulation, you really need to understand what's really manipulation in the I saw outside of the law, and maybe some kind of manipulation that you think might be going on beneath the curtain. It's
Correct.
different, and I tend to agree. But look, yeah, Franklin Templeton, 1.5 trillion asset manager. They put laser eyes, and not even they put a laser eyes. They said other L1s outside BTC, ETH, and Sol have massive potential. So they kinda play the game at this point, right? And you
Yep.
think not a big bull market is not gonna come? I don't know. Looking at this, these guys are preparing for something.
For
In
sure.
From my point of view, like, looking at this, look at this, like, on Solana, we see blah 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 blah. So what they tweeting right now is mainly crypto. So they tweeting about mainly crypto. They trying to appeal to that part of the
Do you
of the world.
Do you know that Franklin Templeton bought a big stake in Fondo Proprietà, and actually they were the
Yeah.
managers of Hidroelectrica IPO, so
Mhm.
they're also
Yes.
connected to us.
Yeah. Correct. So they're probably gonna do a lot of investments moving forward into crypto. I think it's gonna flow. Especially exchanges or other parts. I think it's gonna be full of them. And as you see here, like, if they do this, they do it with something, like a penny saved. This is Satoshi earned. Here you go. Like, what else more you kind of need to understand that these guys are like really cooking something at this point in time. We'll see what, but probably it's gonna take a little bit of time. It's not going to be overnight, but I think I do think that the next stop of the bull market is going to be crazy. That's what I think, and I think it's going to be a fight for like between these kind of asset managers, institutions, and so on, and
Let's
they
promise
all going to
ourselves.
be they're gonna be the new meme coin that's gonna be very, very hot. They're gonna be there to shill it most likely, but that's my that's my preview, I think, and that's what I think is gonna happen. They're gonna shill a lot of this stuff, not only Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin for them was just a way in.
Sure.
was just a way in, and then the rest of the market, it's actually what they wanna really play.
Let's promise ourselves to be the same people also when when things are gonna go crazy, like very crazy, and to keep the same kind of discipline and balance when everybody's gonna talk about Bitcoin at 5 million, 10 million, or whoever knows what other kind of values, and we will see some signs of deteriorating markets. To keep our audience from Monday Kickoff and our communities to still keep them balanced and remind them to take profits from time to time and to take care of themselves, of their families and their loved ones, to not marry their bags, and just to improve the quality of their lives. Because any of these ones, any of them, maybe Bitcoin can be for longer term, any of the vehicles that we're talking about should just be used to improve the quality of your life. Don't go into like religious mode with them. Don't go and marry your bags. Don't go into these kind of things. Just keep it cool. Understand that you do your best to buy at a lower value and you do your best to sell at a much higher value in order to buy real assets, to buy a house, to buy an apartment, to buy a car, to go to trips, to make your life better, to be healthy, to take care of your family and your loved ones.
Yeah, very well said. And of course, when we're gonna see the crazy part of the next bull market, which I think is gonna come at some point, we're gonna be here to remind you that nothing lasts forever. So, and these institutions are not your friends, or asset managers are not your friends. They'll do it for a reason, and the reason is, of course, to make more money. But yeah, I will conclude with this. If the next bull market, I don't see UST going above $1, the next bull market is not going to be as big as as I thought would be. So if UST will not go back to parity, and the next bull market is
Terra
not
Luna,
going to be
right?
as
The stable
crazy.
coin from Terra Luna.
Yeah. So if
Okay,
that's
sure.
not going to go back to $1, I don't think the next bull market is going to be as big as I thought would be.
Right.
So, but we'll see. We'll see what things will come. But now I like it because it's silence, right now in the market, and I like it. This is where you want to do your business, basically, in this kind of market right now.
It's a bit
In
of
this time.
eerie. It's a bit of eerie silence. Like everybody don't like, most of the people don't know what to do now. I see that it's a bit of anxiety. It's like, oh, this is the top. It's gonna be the local top. I think I should exit. I should like
A local top can be. It doesn't mean it's the final top. Yeah,
can
it
be a
can be.
local top. Can be a local top.
Someone said Ethereum. Do you wanna pop
I
up
have
the
it. I
chart?
have. Sure. I
Yeah.
have it here.
Okay.
I was speaking. I
How
was
about
actually looking at.
ETH? When is this ETH gonna go to the moon and back, or not back? Just go to the moon. It's fine.
To be honest, I was still bullish, and going into today, I'm not gonna flip yet.
Yeah,
Not
it
even.
really takes its time, huh? Really takes its time.
The problem is that also the ETF Foundation was selling a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of Ethereum. Like I think they sold another, like I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't remember the value, but it's very hard when they hold so much ETH. It's very hard for ETH to rally if they do this kind of moves, because it's also it's a wallet that everybody tracks. When everybody's tracking, maybe the algorithms also track it, and also other people are selling. Other people also, they look, oh, if Ethereum Foundation they're selling, maybe I should also sell. Maybe these motherfuckers know something that I don't. So it does not give confidence inside the altcoin space, However, I think that the only place where I will be bearish fully is like if we go back here and we lose 2145. So if we go back under these lows from here, I think we can see even sub 2000. But until then, if we go back in this range, we're just gonna chop for more time, in my opinion. I don't like if we go back, if we lose these highs from
Yeah,
2400,
I
because it
tend to
means
agree.
It means that this is a weekly false break or a weekly fake out, and we can go lower for a bit of time. I don't like this. I would have loved to see that this week we stabilize above 2000. I like this pullback, but I wanted to see it above 2400 and after that rip higher. But under 2400, I think we can go back into this range, and who knows, maybe lower values.
Yeah,
2200
Ethereum
here.
Ethereum really looks that Bitcoin is gonna break 40K. So this is how it looks,
Yes,
and
yes,
it's gonna go down to that level that you have there. That's very important for me as well. 2,140, give or take. I think that level is very
yeah,
very important
I agree.
for Ethereum. But I think it really takes its time. It's like Ethereum goes up. Yes, this is now the moment we're gonna go above 3K. And it goes down, and then another sideways movement for 2 months, and then again it went higher, prints another high. Yeah, this is the moment we're gonna go higher, and now again stays sideways. But I think at some point it's gonna do it. I think at some point it's gonna be above 3K. And then the altcoin season, because a lot of people ask me about altcoin season. I think there's not going to be an altcoin season, the one that you really want to see, till Ethereum breaks 3K. So I want to see Ethereum above 3K. I want to see the dominance going below 49, 48, and then altcoin season is there. But before that, I'm not seeing how altcoin season can happen. Like, we need to have Ethereum being very very strong first, and then we can see altcoin season. Like
I agree.
all the other coins that did not rally from the previous cycle, like for example Cardano. It's a good example of looking. It's there. It looks like it's maybe ready, but it's not, because the market doesn't have enough liquidity for it right now, because Ethereum is not above 3K, and the sentiment is not really in that area. The indicator that shows altcoin season or Bitcoin season switched, I think, a week ago to altcoin season. I don't really trust it. I don't trust it
Also,
till
don't trust
uh,
that one.
yeah, till we're gonna go below 48% for dominance, and Ether about 3K. Then yes, we can party. We can party. Till then, it's just a kind of a sideways. It might happen, like it might started, but it's a very very shallow right now till Ethereum breaks 3K.
To what you said very well, I just want to add one more thing. Ethereum Bitcoin also struggled with 0.61, 0.0061. We talked about it last time, and this is still a downtrend, right? And although this
Yeah.
move was very strong, so this weekly candle covered about 100 days of downtrend, we still need to see it. I mean, the structure is still valid. We need to see it above 0.0061, and when it is going to go above 0.0061, it's going to take out the highs from here and this area. And after that, we can think, because at that point in time, Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. Most likely, the Bitcoin dominance is going to go lower. And if
Yeah.
Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin and breaks from this downtrend, which lasts in September 2022, is not going to stop in just a few days, right? So
No, probably it's gonna
at
take some time. Yeah.
700 days, who knows? Not hope. I hope it's not 700 days. Who knows? Maybe it's gonna be around 550 days, 560, somewhere in March, April, somewhere around this area. So when it's gonna break this downtrend, it's gonna continue for more. If BTC means that Bitcoin is rallying less, so Ethereum is also running. So when Ethereum is gonna stop, the money is gonna flow to total three. One thing that I want to touch upon besides Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance is the chart that we were speaking, and I was bringing all the time. I'm going to be the liquidity guy of these shows. I'm going to say liquidity, 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 until a lot of people understand that this is the fuel, this is the lifeblood of risk assets. And liquidity was really rallying. That's why we also saw the liquidity means that the biggest market cap, the market cap of the biggest stablecoin, which was Tether, was rallying, and now we see that it starts to also top a little bit. And we were talking about how similar is Bitcoin chart with this, and how similar it was since the bear market, right? And we can see
Yeah.
what happened, and we can see very clearly what happens also when Tether market cap is not increasing anymore. We can see that it topped out, and also Bitcoin starts to range.
Yeah,
Or
this really looks bearish on the short medium term.
it
Like if
it,
you look at it
it
this
can
way, yeah, it
it
looks
can
like a local top and correction for 3 to 6 months. That's how I see it. But yeah, that's how it looks right now. And
it
maybe
can
something
it can
similar with what we've seen in the 25-32K range there. Yeah, in that zone, maybe something like that. Another sideways for a little bit
for sure. It can
for
happen.
Bitcoin.
For
Yeah,
sure, it can happen
but
like
yeah,
we had
that's
here.
a very nice chart to follow. I would say, to put like that on top of each other. So yeah, you can clearly see that the USDT market cap is kind of coming down. So that's not a good sign usually
No, it's not.
for
For short
BTC.
term.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
short term,
someone
it's
on
not a
the
good
chat
sign.
says, I'm afraid this bull market will be only for BTC, will be the first bull market with altcoins out of it. Should we show him that he's wrong? Like we had a lot of altcoins that did 10, 20x. Like
First of all,
like we had a lot.
I don't think that this was a bull run or a bull market, however you want to call it. I think that this was the beginning of a bull run,
Yeah,
and I think that
clearly.
this was the in-between phase. So we just
Mhm.
exited the bear market. We saw inflows in total
First
cap
reaction.
for the first time that was going above 1.3. So this was the range of the total cap, and we saw fresh money coming inside the system. We saw USDT market cap increasing. So now I think that we're just scratching the surface. I think this is the first quarter of a bull run. And of course, you're going to see Bitcoin going lower. We're going to see pullbacks of about 30% on Bitcoin, meaning 45, 50, 60% pullbacks on altcoins. But this is usual. And I also disagree that this is going to be the bull run just for Bitcoin. However, still Bitcoin, in my opinion, and in my portfolio also, is going to be the biggest dominant force. And I think this is
For me,
sensible, and I think this is reasonable.
yeah, for me, it switched on that candle on ETH BTC. I allocated another 3%. So now it switched a little bit to Ether being more dominant after 1.5 years.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll have to see. Yeah, that level that you have there, 6.1, I think is very important for ETH BTC.
I agree.
Yeah, it's very, very important. We'll see if we can recapture that. I'm not going to add any more for ETH from my Bitcoin position, but we'll see how this plays out. In the meantime, Bitcoin crashed a little bit down to the down level for 40,500 again. So because the US stock market is opening, how is the futures looking?
Looking
If
good.
you have it, if not,
The futures
yeah,
are good.
maybe the futures is like, let me see.
No, they're green.
Yeah, they're green.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see it's green. Yeah, 0.28 I have, and SPY, yeah, 31, 0.31. So if you have it, yeah, here you go. Yeah, it's green. Interesting. Like interesting again, Bitcoin, it's decorrelated from the traditional markets today as well.
I'm not surprised, first of all, and like I said, I want to see it under this. I want to see it under that level, under 40K, because until then nothing changes. I mean, we can talk about it 5 hours until we don't see a clear close, and even if you can share, if you can, yeah, perfect. So exactly how we started, we broke above this level, we retested that, couldn't break under, couldn't break under, couldn't break under, rallied. Cannot break under, cannot break under. So this area is absolutely crucial and massive. Even, and like you said, I think that the best scenario for bulls right now is to drop lower, have a liquidity pickup from there, right? Trap some late sellers,
Yeah,
and after that, just print higher from there.
yeah,
I
I'm
would,
gonna look on that scenario for a long,
I would like that.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I will look for a long if that happens for Bitcoin. But I want to see the reaction. Of course, I think all of us want to see the reaction once Bitcoin will go below 40K. I think that would be a nice. Yeah, we have a nice falling wedge
Falling
there.
wedge on intraday.
Yeah, a very, very nice falling wedge. I can see again that it bounced from the range Bitcoin. So yeah, there are some buyers there that are defending that zone.
And
A
I
very
think
good
people should.
question.
I
Yeah,
think people should have this as a zone. You shouldn't have it just as the line. Have it more as a zone. And in
zone.
general,
Yeah,
areas of support and resistance, I think, should be zones. Shouldn't be fixed points, and because this is gonna help you much more.
yeah. I have a very good question. How is the bond market positioned before the interest rate cut?
The bond market is not seeing any interest rate cut until May right now. This is how it's positioned, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But
I was looking at it.
what usually happens to the bond market when we have rate cuts? Usually, if we think about it, is
The
it
yield goes
usually?
lower,
Yeah, no,
so it means that
100%.
it means that the bonds should rally. The bond prices should rally.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
Most of the times, but who knows what type of dynamics are right now. And if you think about it, and I have here the 10-year yields, no, not this one, hold on for just 1 second. There were expectations for a rate cut, right?
yeah,
And we can see what happened also with the bond yields, and they were putting pressure on the stock market. But right now, I don't know, it's like, again, it's such a complex topic, the bonds, US bonds, and there are so many dynamics, especially when after they introduce the BTFP, and because we're in this kind of gray area when we don't know if they're gonna cut. The job market still looks good, the housing market still looks good, but there are some sectors which are shaky, and there are some problems in the world. I really think that we should just focus on asset prices, because if you go inside the bond market and if you try to time your I mean, are you trading bonds? No, I'm asking in general, not you or the
In
audience.
general,
No,
no, I don't trade bonds in
no, no,
general.
no.
No.
I was not asking you. I was just saying in general, like a rhetorical
Okay.
question. If you're not trading bonds, yes, watch the stock market. Yes, watch the yield curve. But I don't think it should, in my opinion, and I can be wrong, it should have a lot of weight from your framework / positioning, because it can I mean, this is very laggy. It can deviate. It can have a lot of weird movements before it shows you the real move. And the real move, you're gonna see it in the price, in the price of the asset that you're trading.
Yeah, very good. Crypto Best says, what crypto market will do if the interest rate is going down? Usually, the markets, when the interest rate is cut, they usually go down. So, for now, we spoke earlier with Mr. Spread that May might be the month, might not be March. It might be towards May that we see a cut. Depends what the markets are doing towards that area. If the markets are still keep rallying, it might be a sell the news event because they price in that cut at that point in time. If the markets are like going down 1 or 2 months before, we might not see a very big impact. That's how I see it. Depends what the markets do before the cut. If they rally, from my point of view, it means that we might have a sell the news, as we had with Bitcoin ETF. But in relation to the crypto market, it depends what happens towards that area, and if the selling will stop from the grayscale, and where we are at that point. If Bitcoin is at 30K or like 31, if the rates are coming, I don't think it's going to be a huge impact on the crypto market. If it's going to be 50, 60K, it might be. That's how I see it. What's your view, Mr. Spread?
I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I don't care so much about that, and I will look at asset prices at that point in time. I'll look how is the dollar doing. If the dollar is bearish and it's in a weekly bearish structure, and in the same time S&P, Nasdaq, and Dow Jones are bullish, most likely I will also still be bullish on Bitcoin. Of course, I'm gonna also look at its chart, because it can be more decorrelated than is now from the TradFi. But I will just keep looking for this kind of signs. I'll look exactly how is the stock market looking from United States. I'll look how is the dollar looking. Of course, if I need to look at the dollar, I need to look at euro dollar, GBP USD, and USD JPY mostly. Of course, also USD CAD and USD CHF. But based on the DXY and how DXY is going to look close to those rate cuts and the risk assets, I'm also going to be positioning for the crypto space.
Good answer, I would say. Seeing batches of 950 BTC sent to Coinbase minutes before open, so that's why we have this small dump. Because we can see already that Grayscale is still continue to sell. I wonder how long it's gonna take, or how many people are gonna sell, and we're gonna see this stopping. Probably it's gonna take a while. But yeah, how about altcoins, Mr. Spread? Do you look at any altcoins at this point on this dip?
Yeah,
Like,
I last few weeks I adjusted a little bit. So I had Algorand, which was the first one which I added, but I didn't buy anymore. I had Injective, which I was DCing into it, and I closed 1 week ago, more than 1 week ago, a position on AVAX, because I didn't like how it was looking toppy. Let me open it up actually.
yeah, you can put it, and then I'll add it to the screen. But yeah, this is how the crypto market looks right now. Top 100 is kind of red today, so it's a sea of red. We can see Saya coin, which is a bit up, eHex and Hex, which is interesting that these are green. You know what I mean? But the rest of the market, it's kind of red
They
with
smell
say.
when I see hex and eHex, for me it's
Yeah,
already bad news. Shit rallies last. Okay, so for
correct.
me, for me, this was very interesting, because above this value, somewhere around this value, I think I had the long, and Yep. And it didn't rally for more than so I opened the long on the 3rd or 4th of January somewhere on margin, and because I saw that it couldn't break and go above 40 around the 12th or 13th of January, I closed it with -1% in minus from my spot account, and I just exited around 37. I think it was on the 13th of January, somewhere like this, and I saw that this continues to drop. For me, this is like something very decisive that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut much more quickly during this year when I see something that is not performing. AVAX was performing good, but I see that it's already printing somewhat of head and shoulders, and since then from 37 it dropped currently to 30 area, and I think most likely it's gonna test 28, 30 area. If it's not gonna hold, it means that this was confirmed. So this
it
would
looks
be
bearish.
this looks bearish. Most likely this was a head and shoulders. Around this area is going to be the neckline, and if it's going to break under the neckline, so if you're going to break under the neckline, we're going to retest 21. So
Yeah,
a
I
bigger
think
drop.
it's a probability to go lower. Yeah, in that range that you have there towards 20 for AVAX. So yeah, what
is it
else
from
are
here?
you what else are you looking for accumulating basically for your spot position?
So
You said
injective,
injective, right?
TIA, and say
Yeah,
opening.
how about say? Let's go back to
It's
say. What
it's it's
targets do you have?
it's bearish right now, and I think this was a confirmed distribution after this
Yeah.
all run up. Because look, this is a very nice example for what we were speaking on Bitcoin, right? So let's say this is the 40K. This is the hold on for just 1 second. I just want to reload it because this is a very nice example of what's happening on Bitcoin, right? Imagine that this is exactly the 40K area, the 44 with the 40K area, and if we lose that, this is what I was saying. I'm just waiting for confirmation. This was the run up. This is the run up, right? So people were buying, and because the buyers couldn't take over above this area, and we don't have acceptance above 0.8485, as you can see, we have rejection. This can be very well a double top, somewhat of a double top, or a distribution. So people who bought all the way up there, they distributed their profits around this area, and now because we have a break under this range, this for me looks bearish. If in the next days we have continuation, most likely it's going to open up all this area from 0.48, and I'll wait there. If I see a bounce from 0.48 and start to recover, like I said, printing some higher lows, I might start a long position on say. If not, I just want to see how it's going to react around this level, because it was the previous all-time high around 0.4.
Yeah, that's my level as well for say to get interested really in this coin, maybe for a longer hold. So if I see it in that range below 50 cents would be interesting. But I want to show you something in regards to say. Let me pull up a chart and show you something, and the audience that are looking at this live stream. It's this basically. Let me just add it to stage. So I have here Solana. I don't know if you can see it. And
Can you pull up all the indicators, because I just want to see your very
just a second.
Perfect.
There you go. I think this is like way cleaner now. So this is Solana here, and this is Say basically. And if we look at this Solana,
remember you posted that.
Yeah. So if we look at this, for me, it's like the same market makers. This is like the first thing that I see on this chart. Is like, okay, can be the same market making here, and then the same structure of like reaccumulation, and then we have the first high printed here for Solana at around $5, and here we have the first high printed at 87 cents. And look what happened here. A lot of people think, yeah, this is a small correction, but it's not. If you look at this correction,
how much is that?
Was 80, almost 80% correction here, and it lasted from August till December. So August, November, it's like 2 months and a half, 3 months of like correction in this zone. Are people think, yeah, this is easy? No, it was not easy. Like this here was not easy. A lot of people did like a 10x from this area here when they bought, and they were probably selling here, and then this happened. Same here. I can see the same pattern. Can see the first move. I can see the second one here, and then we might print a top here for saying a correction. Correction might go 20-30 cents, I think. And then maybe we can see something similar like this, but that's a maybe, because we cannot look at it like, yeah, if it happened the same in 2020, it's going to happen the same here, but it's a probability there. And I'm going to be interested if this goes, I don't know, to 30 cents. I'll be very, very watching very, very closely, because I don't think this is ending here. I think this is just a start, and I think this might continue higher for, like, say. But it's something that I watch like closely, especially with like altcoins usually. Like I did the same with Solana here in this range when I bought at 10, looking at the Ethereum chart from the previous cycle, and it looks similar right now. Like it's bottom, the first move, and so on. But even this can go lower in the meantime. But I think Solana is going to trade higher with time here after this correction. But that's how I see it. That's how
Very
I see
nice
it, and I
correlation.
want to show it.
I like what you found here.
Yeah. So
I saw your chart there, and it's very nice that you brought it up.
yeah, the thing
guys,
is, now we are in a correction zone, so that's
I agree.
to be pointed out. So now we're in a correction. We'll see where this will end. We'll see.
Guys, if you really like what me and Daniel are doing right here, don't forget to press that like button. It really helps with the algorithm, and it really helps with the Twitter space. And as always, we really appreciate it, and shows that you're here next to us.
You can see it right here. So right here, it's 6. Of course, if I refresh, might be more than 6. But you can see it here. Let me refresh and see how many likes
79.
we have.
Let me guess.
Yeah, let me see. But you can. Let me see. 80. Oh, you're not far. 80. I think we can pump it to 100. I think we can pump it to 100. Don't forget, you have the links here for like Mr. Spread's Twitter account and mine. You can find it here in the description if you want to follow what we do when we're not live streaming. And of course, we're getting close to 600 people here. So it's we need four more people to get to 600. So that's very, very nice to see that you people like this live stream. I can see here Petro says thank you guys. And what do you think about EGLD as 1-2 years from now? Do you have an answer for that?
I don't have an answer for Bitcoin for like 3 months from now. How can I have for altcoins? Like it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Let me tell you something about me, and I think Daniel also agrees. It's about ourselves. This kind of overly yearly kind of predictions are nothing but a coin flip. Anybody who says a number for an altcoin, even for Bitcoin, further than I would say even 3 months, is just absolutely guessing or has some other different type of, I don't know, framework.
Yeah,
but I will refrain from that.
I can answer. I can
ahead.
answer in a way. I think if the cycles are repeating similar, I think 1.5 year from now probably might be good for EGLD. Like the price might go up, but on the longer run, I don't see most of the altcoins like doing well. Like I don't see them because high inflation, because they need to keep up with the trends. A lot of things that might happen afterwards that will not make them perform pretty well, basically. And we're gonna have winners. The question is EGLD gonna be a winner? That's the question that you need to like ask yourself. Is LGLD has enough fuel and enough, of course, community products and so on in order to remain relevant in the next 5 years or not? That's the question. In the 1 year, 2 year, it might go up. Everything might go up, like in the next 1 or 1.5 year because of the bull market. The bull market, like everything tends to like go up. But afterwards, what's left? That's the question. Is it something that you can use? Good products, good community, and then that's the question that you have to ask for EGLD, basically, or any other altcoin that you're holding. And of course, keep in mind inflation. Inflation is not that bad in a bull market, but once the bull market is over, inflation is very, very bad very, very bad. If the coin has only like 10% in circulation, and then inflation is gonna be there in the next 3, 5, 10 years, it's gonna be very, very bad for the coin if no new buyers are coming in for those coins.
You touch upon something very nicely, and it's about new buyers. And this is not for GLD; this is for all of them. You need liquidity. So, in order for an ecosystem to thrive, besides having amazing products, which I really think that, and this is not just me saying it, there are a lot of builders and there are a lot of high tech people, much smarter and much with much more experience than me when it comes to smart contracts, Web3, and even Web2, which come from this kind of background. And all of them said that Elrond, when it comes to technology, they're doing very, very good with their sharding technology, with their smart contracts, with their security, now with the Guardians, with export and everything. On this side, they're doing amazing, but this ecosystem really needs liquidity and really needs some type of I don't know if marketing or something, awareness, so other people are coming inside this ecosystem, because for the last bear market and even now, they're almost the same people who are there. So this is what it needs. Besides an amazing product and a very good team who are delivering, it needs bigger liquidity. It needs lots more liquidity, because if not, you see ecosystems like, look what happens. Celestia comes from behind. OP, right? Optimism, Arbitrum. Look how big is their DEX on Arbitrum, right? And it sucks all the blood. So you need to come with something, like you said, to still stay relevant, because if not, the same money or just
flows in different directions.
Just goes to the same projects, like this and this and this, like a merry-go-round. So you need like big partnerships from other ecosystems or from VCs or from some big names, etc., in order for you to take some of the market cap. And I think that right now EGLD is like what, 60 place or under 50, and the more you go lower, the less relevant you also are. So it needs the liquidity to sustain and to also to make the ecosystem flourish. I'm really curious to what the team is going to announce in 9-10 days, and I hope it's going to boost this side of the ecosystem.
Hopefully, it's very hard to remain relevant on the long term. That's why if you ask 5 years from now, it's very hard to like know. A lot of things can happen. A lot of new projects might show up, and like be bigger and have more communities and more liquidity, as Mr. Spread said. So it's very hard to stay there. Once you get there, it's nice, to be in the top 50. The hardest part is to remain there, and in that range. And I think, if we look at the EGLD, did a good job so far, because it stayed there at least in the 60-50 place. But right now the game is harder and harder and harder, and it's going to be harder and harder and harder going in the next few months, because new coins are coming right and left, and ZK Sync is not here, and a lot of coins that will come are not here. So
think about what's coming from behind, and there are some big names like Eigenlayer, like Dimension, like there are Neon. There are so many things that are coming from behind with Monad, some big technologies who are coming from behind. And besides having a good technology and also liquidity, which they're lacking right now, and also some of the others which are from older cycles, you also need to be on the right narrative. So if you're not on the right narrative and you're not on the hot narrative, like AI, like ordinals, like whatever is going on right now, like the hot ones, gaming, the decentralized science, real world assets, something like this, to be somewhere relevant and to be on the hot topics, on the searches, etc. It's like, with what can you take market share? It's like, how can you beat the ones which are exactly here, like parallel EVMs, paralyzed EVMs, and whatever the new technologies are coming? How can you come in front of these technologies to take market share and to attract builders when the others have the new hot potatoes? Like, this is what I would do if I would be a builder. And I said it before, and I'm not a builder, but from a business strategy, I will build from the shoes of my user and of my client. I will not build as a builder. I will not build products that I want to build. I will build products that the market needs to use in order to attract more people towards my ecosystem, to attract attention, and also at that point in time to attract funds, liquidity.
Yeah, very well said. Very, very well said. I think EGLD has a chance, of course, but we'll see how the markets will go, and where liquidity will go in the end, because this market is not going to be with 10,000 coins. No way. Like, no way. Like, in the end, it's going to be just a few that are going to be relevant on the long term. I cannot be 10,000. Like, cannot be 10,000.
Look at this, because it asked for it. It's like after the rally, after we have the break, this was very good actually, because we had the falling wedge, right? And the breakout was done with a very nice volume and a very nice candle. But after that,
no follow through. Yeah.
no follow through, and also the interest goes lower. I mean, the price rallied, and this is a very big divergence, right? So in order for us to think about our national ones going higher from here, we need volumes to
You know, can you go on weekly and put the 200
I'm on
moving
I'm
average?
on weekly. Sure.
Yeah, 200 moving average, simple moving average. I think that's the EMA. Might be the EMA.
No, it's the simple
one. Is the 200?
Yeah.
I think you're on daily. I think.
What is for we? I mean, you want the weekly one?
Yeah, the weekly chart. Yeah.
I am on weekly, but let's see if it's any difference for the weekly. No?
Let me see, because I think it's above, cannot be below the 200.
No, it's above.
Let me see.
I mean, the price
Just
is
give me a
above the.
second.
Sure, I can stop the share. In the meantime,
the 200 moving average, simple for me, it's above. I think it's something weird. For me, it's above, and it's just printed it. Like, it cannot be. So let me just share.
You're on spot or on perps?
On spot, I think. Yeah, on spot.
I was on perps.
But
I don't think that is such a big difference. Very weird.
Yeah, see? So this is where the 200 is here.
But what is the input there, for weekly or for daily? Because I have the daily moving average 200.
I have weekly. So I have weekly, basically. So I'm on weekly. You can see the EMA. It's simple here, and the input is 200, basically. So yeah, I'm looking at this because I cannot be fully bullish on this. Once we are below, I cannot be bullish. I need to see above. And remember, I remember what happened to Ethereum back here. Same, it just printed the 200 on the weekly, and once we went above this zone, then some kind of the bull market starts here for Ethereum from the 2019-2020 cycle, basically. So I'm looking at that for EGLD. I'm looking at 200 weekly moving average to see. I think 70, 72, it's a good zone. If we go above that, I think we can go higher, and then maybe go towards the 200. And I think it's gonna happen. But I think it's gonna take some time here. I think it's gonna take some time. Maybe go a little bit lower and start to reaccumulate again till we're gonna try probably this range, 200. I'm not sure if it's gonna go above this. We'll have to wait and see.
For
but
me,
this might be
152. Remember that area? It's like massive.
Yeah. 152. I remember that as well.
Yeah, I'm neutral. I'm neutral bullish here. I mean, above 38, I'm still bullish. But if we drop under 38 on EGLD, after that I'm gonna not necessarily turn bearish, but I don't think it's gonna be any. It's not gonna be a good time to still buy the dip. At 46, we have an intermediary support. At 38, it's a massive support. Under 38, I would just wait for 38 to be recovered. So as long as we stay above 46 and 38, I still think that dips are for buying. Under 38, I would just reevaluate, and I would still wait. So this is my short.
I tend to think the same, like in the same ranges as you said earlier. I think someone says, why is BNB doing better now than ETH? It's easy to answer that, because they have a lot of coins that are launching on the launchpad, and you need to lock some BNB in order to get that. So most likely that's the reason for it. Okay, that's probably the reason. As you can see here, BNB it looks a bit better, but not fitness. I think 360 would be the level that would make me bullish on BNB.
Imagine you would be involved in this. I would not want to be involved in this. Like, this is so much of a chop. It can be distribution. It can be a bull flag. You just need to wait and see. If we take out the lows from here, which we have a lot of rejection. So what is this area? Under 295. So if you see a daily close under 295, most likely we pull back towards 274 to 64. Right now, this is a chop. I would not want to do any business here. And I would have to agree with Daniel. I think only above 350, I would become bullish again on it.
Yeah, if we recover that level, I think we're gonna go 400 plus, most likely. and
Yeah,
then
it's
maybe try
400.
above all-time high. But until we see that, I don't think I will not touch it that much. I will not touch it that much. I do hold a little bit of BNB. I do use it for the launch
You're
pads.
farming something. You're farming
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I'm farming all the time. I'm farming with BNB, and it was pretty good actually
Very nice.
in the past few months. Um,
It can be a bull flag,
but
actually. It can be a bull flag. Let's see. But
it
I would
can
not.
be, but
I
mhm.
don't want to see it under 290, so 200. I don't want to see it under this area, so under these weeks from here.
Yeah,
Actually,
if you remember, a lot of people will want to short this below 180 or 200, and a lot of people did short it there. And yeah, this is what happened, as you have it there as well. Very, very nice bottom in that
it was an inverse head
range.
and shoulder.
Yeah, very, very nice. And I told people, I was like, why do you want to short BNB? You have so many other good coins that you can
Can
short.
short.
Yeah, than BNB.
You don't short the
And
cartel.
exactly, like BNB, it's a bit different than the other coins that are
Yeah.
transacting, because once BNB is like listing something, like Binance is listing something, they're taking 30, 40, 50% of the supply of the coin. If
True.
something happens with BNB or with Binance,
They
they will
sell
sell
those.
those coins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's like, why should I short that? I can short other altcoins, and I will not short BNB. Like BNB would be the last one that I would think about to short.
I think this is
But
good
yeah,
news. It's a good area here. So, like I said, and also Daniel also was saying, I think it's better to mark as areas than rather just to mark as fixed lines. Let's see how BNB is gonna
Hey,
react. So
can you pull up the BNB
305.
BTC? BNB
Sure.
BTC. I think that would be an interesting one to look at.
And this was a beast in bear market, remember?
Oh yeah, yeah. Printed new all-time highs against BTC, but now, yeah, it's trying, but it's not a reversal yet. It's like the
No,
ETH
it's not.
BTC a little bit. It
So
looks a
this
little
is the
bit like
level.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that the business that you can really do here, it's above this level. So
yeah.
let's hold on for just 1 second. Can you tell me how much is Bitcoin right now exactly?
Let me see. BTC. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, 40,594.
500, so 40,600. So we just take this. So it's gonna be around 400, this level.
Yeah.
So this one. So this would mean around 400 on BNB USD.
Yeah, it needs to go above 400 most likely.
Well, here, there, I mean, on these current values. However, around
Yeah.
350, we already have a clear new high around that, and we can touch the 400. Actually, 400 is a good level to have here.
Yeah, though short term looks bearish though. Short term doesn't look that
Yep. I agree.
that good, but we'll see. I probably we're gonna see in the next few weeks what decision will BNB do. Most likely. Of course, it's gonna depend on Bitcoin. Let's see if Bitcoin will be above 40K on the next Monday kickoff. I'm really interested to see. Probably it's gonna be in 2 weeks from now.
In 2 weeks from now, because I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna
Yeah, so it's
travel
gonna
next
be on
week.
the
So
5th.
on the
It's gonna be
5th,
on the
exactly.
5th. Yeah, so it's gonna be perfect
But
because
it's gonna
it's
be
gonna
perfect because we're
be
gonna have the
yeah.
weekly close, the monthly close. We'll see what also Powell
Mhm.
is gonna do. So we're gonna have a lot of things to discuss. I think it's a nice place to wrap up here. Do we have any other questions here in the chat? Maybe something that we need to discuss. Anybody wanted to say something?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered most of it. On a yearly scale, doesn't the BNB BTC graph look like a cup and handle? Maybe. I think we're gonna look next time and see. I think we did a technical analysis on BNB, and that's enough.
That's a good thing to watch for the next time.
Yeah, and I think it's a good place to wrap up. I think, yeah, we're getting close to 2 hours today, so that's a lot of content. You can reply the video afterwards if you wanna see some parts of it. You can share it to your friends, and of course, like if you enjoy the content and you want to see it like more often, just like this. This is how you can help the stream basically. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Spread, for an amazing show again. I think it's episode 15, right? Yeah, it's 15. 15. So we're getting there slowly, almost closing to 600. Let me see if I refresh. Maybe if you did not subscribe yet, yeah, 602. Look, We are 602 subscribers right now. So we passed the 600. If you did not subscribe yet, you can do it. You can get notified by YouTube when we go live. And of course, we're on Twitter as well, live right now. So I want to thank you all, and we'll see you in the next one, right, Mr. Spread?
Absolutely. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for the very nice Monday kickoff. And see you in 2 weeks from now. Take care and stay safe.
See you guys.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everybody.
Bye bye. Bye.